And we are live. Welcome, everyone, to Conversations with C, where we connect with spiritual thought leaders from around our world and beyond. My very special guest today, it's truly an honor for me, is spiritual medium. Wait, why do I hear myself talk? Oh, that was on YouTube. My very special guest today, give me one second. I'm still hearing feedback. That was all I had open. Okay. Can you hear me? I'm so sorry. Can you hear
All
me,
right,
Chris?
I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know why I'm hearing myself. Pardon me, guys. Give me a moment, everyone. Okay. I apologize. We will just start over again. And that's just how it goes. All right. Let's just give everybody a few more moments to just, join us as I'm going to do our intro again. So, welcome to Conversations with C, where we connect with spiritual thought leaders from around our world and beyond. My amazing guest today is spiritual medium and best selling author Chris Lippincott. Chris is an international spiritual medium and best-selling author whose evidential readings and unique information from spirit helps transform people's lives. So there's so much. Chris is just amazing, and I know you're going to love him. So would you all please join me in welcoming Chris Lippincott?
Hi, Megan. How are you?
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so glad that I figured out what was going on with the audio and all is well. So I want to say hello to Heather Graham. She goes hello at the park, stopping in to
Oh,
listen. Hello,
excellent.
Selena. Kathy Locke says, hi, Chris. Yeah,
Hey,
you have a lot
Kathy.
of friends here. I know what
Apparently,
all
you
I see
do.
already. We've got Tigger.
Love that name.
Mhm, absolutely. Hi from Texas.
Here's
I know,
Nathan.
Tigger. That's a
I
great
know
name.
Nathan.
Let's see. We've got hi from Texas, Nathan Coffee, Selena. There you are, Selena. Say hi, saying hello. Terry Quinn from Las Vegas. Now, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Nilofer Engineer? Please forgive me if I've butchered that your name. I do my best. Welcome. Barb Nicholson from Illinois. And we've got Leslie Allen McCombs from Pennsylvania, Caroline Eagles. So, welcome everybody. So, I want to get us started off today. Um, if you want to, Chris, just start giving us a bit about yourself.
Sure.
So I know a lot of people already know you've got a huge following on social media and through your students and everything. But let people get to know you a bit. And while you're
Sure.
doing that, I'm going to share out the link a little bit as well.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, a little bit
Thanks.
about me. I've been working with Spirit probably for about 20 some odd years, but it really wasn't until, I was a full adult that I really began to develop my connection with Spirit to the point where, I felt really comfortable saying, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. Because when I was very young, probably about 5 or 6, it was clear that I was, playing with spirit, connecting with spirit, but I didn't really know what they were trying to do. I thought I was just having imaginary playdates and imaginary friends, and everything was all well and good. But hindsight being 2020, it wasn't until I realized, oh yeah, I should have realized
Hmm.
because they were fully talking back to me, and I was having a full conversation with them. Something was just a little bit different. Nobody else could see them. I was getting in a lot of trouble as a result of that. And I
Right.
was talking to people who
Right.
just weren't there. I remember parents thought I was a little bit off the wall, and soon I started thinking that I too was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I had my spiritual awakening, and I remember thinking very vividly, going, well, there are only two types of people that can connect with spirit. Either A, I'm some great Sherpa who's come off the Himalayan mountains, or I'm crazy. And I know I'm not a Sherpa, so oh my God, I'm crazy. So I really began to get worried. But ever since
It was the
then,
Sherpa from the Himalayan mountains that won, right?
yeah,
He's like,
apparently
yeah,
so.
that's me.
I thought I was really going off the deep end, but it's really something that I love working with spirit. I love letting them guide me to guide the rest of the world, because I'm just basically their instrument. I'm basically, what I tell everybody is I'm basically a relay station. I'm kind of like a telephone booth, and they're just basically dialing
Okay.
up their individuals, and they're just using me, and that's all I am. I'm just a middleman. That's all.
I love the way you put that. I love the way you put that because I think that really makes it simplifies it for people that I know a lot of our audience are already mediums or in the spiritual community, but for people that are really new to this world, I think it's they don't really know like where is spirit? How do you connect with how are you connecting with spirit? And so if you want to continue, please do, or I can ask you some questions. This is a beautiful I just love
Sure.
hearing people's journeys.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, the journey was definitely one where I was very conflicted, because I came from a materialist background. I came from
Okay.
one that was very agnostic, where my parents didn't believe anything. They were completely, this isn't possible. We don't want to hear any of this kind of stuff. This is just silly.
Okay.
Um, so for the longest time, I was steeped in materialism, steeped in logic, steeped in analysis, and to the point that I became a financial analyst on Wall Street. So I'm this Wall
Oh
Street guy.
wow.
I was this Wall Street guy who. And of course, I'm a Gemini, so it makes perfect sense. Half of me was
Hmm.
totally logical and total material and totally analytical. The
Yeah.
other half of me was, still that 5-year-old child who was out there, floating in the ether somewhere, connecting with spirit. But the two halves of me were battling back and forth forever. And so it really took the sort of the marriage of the two to understand actually what was happening.
Hi
Where I,
Debbie. Sorry, I had to say hi to Debbie Charlton.
oh, hey, there's Debbie.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it was really, it finally got me to kind of go beyond the materialism, go beyond that, to really connect with what was happening with spirit, and getting beyond what I was understanding. And quantum physics actually helped a lot of that, because it could help that physical materialist person understand what was actually happening to the person that was connecting the spirit. So the two blended.
I understand. So you've got the science to back it up. So your Gemini mind is able to process it analytically, and yet your spiritual self says, "I know this is true," and then your analytical mind says, "And this is why. This is how it happens." Something
Yeah,
like that.
very much so. And that's really how I kind of drag myself along, kicking and screaming, into the spiritual realm.
Wow. So you were a financial analyst on Wall Street, and how long ago was this that you were like actively doing that for a
That was
living?
probably, I want to say, in the early 2000s or so. I mean, I'd been
Okay.
doing it since, early 90s. And, what really got me was the fact that, I was getting so stressed out on Wall Street that I had to find a way to de-stress. And I tried
Right?
everything else. Nothing else was working. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I'll try this weird thing called meditation. Let me see what happens, right? And so I'm going on,
Yes.
I'm going on the internet searching for meditations, and I'm coming up with all these really crazy meditations, and people wearing, turbans, and I'm like, oh no, this is not for me. I can't deal with this. But eventually I ran across one track that really sounded pretty down to earth. Remember, the materialist person in me had to have something that was down to earth. So I ran
Okay.
across it, loved it. And next thing I know, I'm listening to this meditation, doing this meditation every day for about 15 to 20 minutes every single day. I didn't really realize quite what I was doing. other than liking the audio track. Turns out I was actually sitting in the power. Um, and
Oh, okay.
next thing I know, I'm doing this for every day for 12 months. At the end of 12 months, that's when I had my spiritual awakening, where all of a sudden I'm in my man cave, right? Every guy's got to have his man cave.
Gotta have a
Um,
man cave. I love that.
um, and so I'm in the meditation one Saturday morning, and all of a sudden, in my mind's eye, there are four spirit people standing in front of me, kind of like in a silhouette, two on my left, two on my right, and the one all the
Okay.
way to the right, it's like shooting this beam of energy all the way through my chest. And I could feel the energy going through my chest, out my back. And I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I know I'm not asleep. This has got to be real. And then I felt myself sort of getting, I don't know, moved to a whole nother realm where somehow I was connected to love. I was like a thread of love, and love was like like part of the tapestry. It was like, everything was everywhere. There was no end. There was no beginning. And it was like this overpowering, unconditional sense of love where, the 1% of awareness of love that the human word love has, this was the other 99%. It's kind of like the iceberg theory.
Yeah. Yes.
This was the other 99% below the waterline that we never see. I couldn't even put a concept or fathom what it was. I just know it was so overwhelming. I was like, I think that's what that concept means.
So the true deep understanding or the knowing perhaps of what love actually is, as opposed to the word love that people throw around and like, oh, I love you,
Yeah,
which, like
it
you
was
said, that's the tip of the iceberg.
it was what I started to understand was that it became the full unconditional acceptance for everything that you are.
Mm,
And because I
yes.
remember at one point, this being, I don't know if it was God, I don't know if it was my guides, I don't know who it was, somebody was saying, um, you are loved. Oh, you are perfect. And
Oh,
I remember immediately thinking, oh, no, 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 you don't know what I've done. But it
I
kept on coming
understand.
like
Yeah.
that. I'm like, I'm perfect for just existing. I'm like, that's love.
Absolutely. We are perfect. And being reminded of that when spirit reminds us of that, because it is a reminder. I know sometimes like in the beginning it might feel like they're just telling us that and we've never heard it before, but inside we know it to be true.
But
Even
we're
if our
so,
human
yeah,
mind might be
but
like, "Oh, I
exact,
don't think so."
but we're so conditioned by
Yes.
either our families, society, the mirror, commercials, whatever it is, we're conditioned to say, oh, I'm not good enough.
Right. Absolutely. So I'm really excited about everything. I'm so glad that you're here. We are going to be taking questions in a little while for Chris. We will also at in a little while. Chris will be going into trance in red light, guys. So super awesome. I know you've not seen this live on my show before. Many of you have probably never seen this, and Chris will tell you all about that before he goes into trance, and you'll know what to look for, or you might or may or may not see or feel, experience. It's super exciting. So if you want to invite anybody to join us today, this is the time. Um, Also, you'll be able to ask Chris's guide some questions. As long as they say yes, we do believe that will be fine. And yeah, but I wanted to ask you, there's so many things I want to ask you. Okay. The first thing I wanted to ask you is about, okay, so you were telling me off camera that your main spirit guide is Native American, an indigenous person named White Star. Is that correct?
Right, right.
So how, I guess what I want to know is, because I'm developing my trance. Well, you know that we're in the same class, but you've been doing this for longer, and you speak so. I mean, your trance mediumship is amazing, and I guess I want to know, how was it when you first met White Star? What was that experience like? And because I know a lot of people are also developing, and so what's your experience in learning to discern? What was it like for you?
Sure, that's a great question.
Thanks.
I remember for the longest time, I kept on asking my guides, "Will you please tell me who you are?" I was getting really frustrated, and I can even remember in long ago, when I was just developing, just developing my mediumship, just kind of starting out the gate. I remember saying, "Okay, guys, if you're really here, can you give me a name?" And I remember hearing, I think I heard something like a Frank and a Judy were like my the two names that came to me. I'm like, what? That can't be right. I'm like, wait a
I understand.
second. Oh yeah, I was expecting like some glorious 20 syllable Egyptian name that would like blow my
Right.
socks off. But I'm hearing like Judy. I'm like, what? Why Judy? Can't you give me something better than that? um, and I think I think the concept was they wanted to kind of ease me into this connection, because as we all know, development is an evolution, not a revolution.
Ooh, I
So
love that.
it's
Say that again.
development of spirituality is an evolution, not a
Not a
revolution.
revelation. Oh, that's powerful. Thank you.
Probably came from my guides. I didn't even realize it. um, but it was so frustrating, and that's what was happening in the beginning. And I was like, all right, well, that's got to be my mind giving me this name. And so I basically just kind of threw it away. Then when I sat again, I heard the same name. I'm like, okay, I'm hearing it again. Is that my imagination? And then as I was asking that question, before I'd even finished the question, I'm already feeling the tingles and the effervescent champagne like bubbles that are wrapping around me. And I could feel the energy starting to build all around me, just like when I was 5 years old. I'm going, whoa, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore. And I started realizing that, okay, there's something to it, and I've got to pay attention to it. I can't just dismiss it offhand. And that kept on happening for a while. But then those names started to kind of drift away, and I just started accepting whatever awareness started dropping in. And it
Okay.
wasn't until a little while ago, I'm starting to connect with a native guide that had kept coming in over and over and over and over again. Um, and there were times where people were in trance groups with me, and they could see the guide on my left hand side, and they would take photos of it, and it was clearly a native guide. um, it actually looked like, some well-known native guides that have been around before. but
Okay.
for me, um, what suddenly appeared in my awareness was, as I'm seeing his face in my mind, all of a sudden there's this incredible, literally like an explosion of white, as it, like almost like a supernova, and it was a star, and then it went back to him. I'm like, I immediately knew, for some reason, I knew that was his name. That was like what I'm supposed to call
White
him. Like,
star. Oh, how powerful is that?
I'm like, all right, I'll just call you White Star from now on. It's very similar to the same way that the name Silver, Silver Birch, right?
Sure.
One of the more famous spirit guides. The way he got his name was he told the people in his group, you want to call me a name? That's fine. Look out the window. What do you see? And they all said, oh, there's a silver birch out there. Then call me Silver Birch.
I love that. See, it's our I guess it's our human minds, right?
Yes,
That want a name. They want a label,
100%.
something.
Yes,
Spirit
because
doesn't feel drawn. They don't need
no,
that.
they don't really have names the way we think they do. All
Right.
we want as humans, we want to place a label on them and say, okay, this is your name. It's the same way Judy came through, right? Judy said, you want a name? Here's a name. You can deal with it.
And you're like, why isn't it a long Egyptian name?
Yeah,
Judy.
right. Exactly.
Like
So
two
that's kind of
syllables.
yeah. So that's how
That's
I
so
got my name.
cool. So I do want to ask you about the spirit world. See, I'm fascinated by that. Like, what's it like there? I mean, there's a movie. I don't know if you've ever seen it called Astral City. It was created by a Brazilian medium whose name is going to not in my mind right now. But the reason I bring it up is because I've watched it multiple times, and I'm not normally I like a new movie, like something I've never seen. That's just my personality. I like something new, but this is something that I just keep going back to, and it's very comforting. And my understanding is that this is his experience and this is what he knows. I get a lot of it really resonates. So I guess I want to ask you, because I know that you have experience knowing like in the spirit realm, like what is it like from their perspective, and can they see us, and are they watching us, and if so why? Or I don't know, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Can they see us? Absolutely. Frequently, when I'm doing my readings, they will give us not only a remote viewing, but they'll give images of events or scenes of things that have just happened, like maybe within the last couple of weeks, a month, whatever it is. They
Hmm.
clearly their physical person could never have seen because they may have transitioned long ago. But they'll show these scenes, and I'm like, I don't know what the scene is, and I'll just relay the scene. I'll relay what I'm getting, and they're like, oh my god, yes, exactly. Like last night, for example, somebody was sitting for me, and all of a sudden, their loved one came through and started showing me a scene of a Jeep, and like there's something going on with this Jeep, and like there's a tire, and there's like people talking about it. I'm starting to relay all this, and she's like, "Oh my God, yes, that's my Jeep. We've been trying to figure out what to do with this Jeep, and just last night we were thinking about it or whatever." Um,
Hmm.
and so, yeah, they're showing us that they can see us, they can interact with us, they can relate with us. They are with us. There are times where they will show me them holding the person's hand. They're standing right next to them.
Oh wow.
And so
Okay.
that's very powerful. Do they express what they're like, or how they live, where they are? Quite often they do. There's one time it was really powerful. There's one time a father was coming through to his two daughters, um, and he started showing me this image, this beautiful image of like an Italian villa, right? And
Okay.
on the inside, it's like all these red tiles, and it's beautifully ornate on the inside. And you walk through the
Hmm.
door, and you're going outside, and you see these all these pillars with a porch or like a roof over it, so you're on a porch, and the pillars kind of like kind of what I don't know what Romanesque or whatever it is, or they're kind of spiraling up.
Okay.
You got like grapevines going along the things, so you can, and
Okay.
then beyond that, you
I
see
can see
like
this
olive
now.
trees. Like it's beautiful scenery. I'm like, wow, this is fantastic. This is
Hmm.
amazing. And I'm describing this, and all of a sudden, his daughters are like bawling. I'm like, did I say something wrong? Um, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh my God, that's exactly the villa that he had right before he died. He in Italy." I'm like, "Okay." And so it's what he was describing was where he is now, because they always want to live and describe their favorite place, and that villa was his favorite place.
Wow.
And they also let me feel what they're like. Like they let me feel how light and free and airy they are. Frequently, there'll be people who uh, were disabled, or they're paralyzed for some reason, or they
Okay.
couldn't walk for some reason.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember there was one reading where I think he was like either a teenager or a young adult, was suddenly jumping up and down, clicking his heels, jumping up and down, clicking his heels, and just like, doing like an Irish jig or something. Um,
Okay.
and the mother just started just losing it. I'm like, oh God, again, my human goes, oh, have I said something wrong? And she said, oh my God, he couldn't do that in the physical. And it was clearly evident that he's like trying to tell his mother, listen, I'm not in that wheelchair anymore. I'm perfectly fine. Know that. And so, like, they try to get these messages across to their loved ones in the physical. I'm fine. I'm so happy. I'm so great. I feel great. And they do that over and over and over again.
Chris, is that one of the main things that spirit wants us to know from non-physical? I mean, I know there certain things that they really like that are common that spirit wants to tell their loved ones from the other side.
Yeah, that one of the things that they're always the theme that I'm getting that is so frequent is that number one, that they're okay, and they go out of their way to express that in every possible method they can.
Okay.
Whether it's the showing them that they are still alive, proof of survival, like that Jeep example I gave you,
Yes.
or that they are in their happy place, their favorite place, like that Italian villa example, or that they are just as perfect as the best day they ever had, like that
Mm,
young adult who is no longer in the wheelchair, um, or that they are incredibly happy and vivacious and they're running around and you feel them. Because the common feeling I'm always getting is one of either freedom or liberty or happiness or like a permanent vacation and just sheer joy. And they're trying to get that across to the people here that are left behind to let them know I'm so happy. I want you to know that I'm okay, because that seems to be the main concern of the people. Of course, they want to know what what are they like? Are they okay?
right. They want to let us know that they're okay. What about us? What about those left behind? Those that are of us that are still here. I mean, there's sometimes the spirit. Sometimes I know sometimes the humans that are still here want some closure. What am I trying to ask, spirit? What am I asking here? I guess I want to know, are they watching us? Do they know what it is that we need from them? Do they are they like, if they're watching us like suffer or struggle and they know we need to contact communicate with them? Like I know personally, I learned this a long time ago, that if I'm feeling like sad or whatever, that just means that they're really close to me. I remember like 20, 30 years ago when I didn't know this, it just made me sad and I would cry thinking that I was missing someone. So I guess what I want to know is, do they are they often with us, like those people that are still like in mourning, and are there certain signs or that people should look for? Like I guess what I'm asking is, how can we get closer to our loved ones in spirit,
Mhm.
especially when they've just passed?
Right. In the very beginning, spirit is always trying to get in contact with us.
Hmm.
We're just so thick in the head because we're human, right?
Right, right.
That we can't sense that they're there. Um, Robin Williams was in a great movie, and I'm blanking on the name of it. What Dreams May Come.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
Phenomenal movie where he passes on and he's trying to get in contact with his wife who's at his gravesite. Just
Hmm.
absolutely so sad. And he's like, listen to me. Can't you hear me? I'm right next to you. And she just doesn't even hear him. And that's like
I've
the biggest
seen this.
frustration.
Right, right.
But if we start to become aware of spirit and what spirit signs are, because spirit's always trying to leave us different signs, and we humans are so material minded that we are often discounting the very subtle signs. It could be a voice in our head. We think, oh, that's just our imagination. Or it could be a tap on the shoulder. We're like, oh, that's just an itch. Or we hear our name called out and we whip around, there's nobody there, and we're just like, oh, stop doing that, right? Or many times people are in grief to the point where they are inconsolable, and not even people who are they're not even their friends can help them out. And
Right.
it's that negativity. We're human, so that's okay, but it's that vibration of negativity that shuts us down to the point where we can't even hear beyond our own head. Once we begin to allow ourselves to open up, and that's the whole concept, is we've got to be able to open up, not only being a person who's in grief or maybe past grief, but just as humans overall, we have to open up to spirit, because spirit is always trying to connect with us. The more we
Yes.
open up, the more we raise our vibration, the more spirit's going to be able to reach us, reach out to us, and connect with us. And that's what they're always telling us.
Thank you so much for that. I want to ask you, as a reader, do you ever encounter a client who's asking the question, they really miss their past loved one, but they're not really receiving the answer that the past loved one is sharing for you to sharing through you to them. They're not getting it. They're not like, I don't know what I don't know if I'm expressing this clearly, but do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
They're not receiving it. They're like,
Yeah,
it's like you're talking and they're over here and you're like
yeah,
missing each other.
yeah. They're there, but they're not there. I think is what you're trying to say. Is that
Right, right.
sometimes, well, the way that people will go into a reading is they sometimes think it's going to be like a TV medium, right? Where
Yes.
it's edited to the point of perfection. With all mediumship is not edited to the point of perfection. It can't be. It's not 100% ever. But furthermore, the way I do my mediumship is it's evidential. Most mediumship should be evidential, where you're
Hmm.
giving the evidence, you're relaying the information you're getting, and you only are saying, do you recognize that? And the person says yes, no, or maybe. That's it.
Right.
And if you work that way, then you're going to be on the same wavelength, because finally because they're the ones who are responsible for the reception of the information. They say yes, they say no, they say maybe. And once they start to, because they're involved, all of a sudden they have, it's their journey of connecting. And once they are going down that journey of connecting, they start to realize they're saying yes to their loved one in spirit, because the loved one in spirit's calling them up, saying, do
Right.
you, I mean, there have been times where I've literally, without even realizing it, started speaking in the same tone of voice as the loved one.
Wow.
Or there'll be times where where spirit will have me do really weird moves, like I'll have certain mannerisms, or my face will do weird things, or
Right.
spirit will just will work on me, and they're like, all right, this guy's malleable, he's kind of like Play-Doh, maybe he kind of looks like Gumby, let's play with him. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I mean, I don't even know I'm doing it. And it's so that's where it gets kind of fun.
And how do different readings affect you, Chris? Are you ever drained? Are you energized?
Oh,
Or what's it like?
I'm always energized, because
Love that.
the love and the energy from spirit is so powerful. I could
Hmm.
do it 24/7, 365, and
Mm.
feel so much better. Of course, I wouldn't have any food or sleep, so that would be kind of a problem.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Thank you for asking my question, which is perfect because I didn't know that was the question. I intuited the question, and we're like,
There you go.
that was the question. Okay, so if you have a question, well, you know what? It's 333 right this very moment. I'm feeling like I would like to ask you if you would like to go into trance, and bring your guides through.
Sure,
And then after that, if you would, you'll be all energized. If you'd
all
like to
right,
answer some questions then,
sure.
from your perspective again as well, if that would be okay.
Sure. Yeah. What we can do is I'll go into trance, and just to kind of describe for people, what they might expect. I'll shift my light into a red light, and red light is very useful because it helps bring out. Um, you can see my face, and quite often spirit will begin to change parts of my face. You'll see different energy in my face, but it also darkens it enough that you'll be able to see, sometimes you'll see energy, you'll see shape shifting on the side.
Wow.
Sometimes you may even see a face. They're kind of like braggarts. They kind of love to show themselves. They're like, hey, take a look at me.
I love that.
But they want to be noticed. They want to know. They want us to know that they are here. So quite often they'll, be one side or the other. If you don't see them, you may feel them. You may feel their energy. You may feel. Some people feel a temperature change. Some people feel an energetic tingling, kind of like goosebumps or champagne like bubbles or something. Maybe you'll feel like a certain part of your body, like maybe your solar plexus starts to, you know, change. You start to feel things. So you might either get feelings or you might start to see things. And when you do, go with it. That just means that you're going to be, with spirit. And the way spirit also works is that it works through everybody else who becomes a battery. Everybody else is a battery, and
Okay.
that's really what's so powerful about spirit is they work with us. The closer we are with them, the more battery. You also may begin to get tired as well. You start going, "Oh, I didn't get enough sleep," so that may happen. And probably I don't know, but usually my native guide often will start to speak, and you may also hear possibly my tone of voice change, kind of either in the very beginning or midway. It just means that um, the group, whoever the guide happens to be that's speaking, or the collective of guides that's speaking, is starting to shift, which is very
Okay.
interesting. So it could just be like a melange of different groups, if that's not confusing.
Awesome.
If that's not confusing enough. Um,
Fabulous.
no idea what they're gonna say, other than there's probably gonna be pretty lofty. Usually is. Um, what else? What else? They may or may not. I don't know. Say invite questions. If they do, great. So
Sounds
I'll
perfect.
just let them take control and have fun. That's all I can say.
All right. I'm going to give you the main screen and
All right.
make
I'll
myself
do.
smaller here so everybody can, this way they can really observe and see what they see and feel what they feel. And
All right. There we go.
thank you.
All right. So I'm just gonna take about 5 minutes or so to go down, um, and when spirit's ready, they will begin to talk. So I'll be back when I'm back.
Okay. See you soon.
See you
Thank
on
you,
the other
Chris.
side. Good day, my friends.
Good day.
It is a pleasant time to be with you. But all is not well. There is such discord. There is such strife. Much healing is required. There is such pain. What is it that mankind requires to realize that it can heal not only itself, but Mother Earth? Each man and each woman wants what it can have as the human. But when the human begins to realize that there is far beyond the fingertip, that is when mankind begins to expand. For now, each man only wants what piece of land they can have, they can grab, they can possess. They scratch the soil. They fight for ownership. They desire everything in their possession. Accumulation is the word. Accumulation has become your God. Why is it that you must have all when you already have more than you could ever imagine? Allow yourselves to see that there is so much farther beyond your perception. And when you begin to realize that you have been given all, and you begin to realize that all is for your asking, no longer will you be sitting in strife. No longer will you be sitting trying to accumulate. No longer will you be sitting thinking, how can I take from others? How can I gain for myself? There is more than you could possibly imagine, more than you could possibly have, for it is endless. Creation will never cease. Creation has existed for all and will always be there. Allow yourselves to see yourselves as beings of the spirit, not beings of the material world. While your short time on your planet may give you the feeling that this is everything, you are limited with the blinders. You feel that all is everything that is within the sight of the eye. Close your eyes for one moment, and what do you see? See the endless escape from beyond the sight. When you begin to close your eyes, is it not an eternal vision? Is it not an eternal vista? And when you open your eyes again, what do you see? You see walls. You see floors. You see your hand in front of you. Do you see how the two visions are two separate concepts altogether? You must allow yourselves to go out. You must allow yourselves to expand. You must allow the vibration to rise up and to know that you are more than just the tree upon which you sit. the blade of grass that is nearby, the person that you wage war with. What do you feel in your heart? Does your heart not beat full of love? For what is this love? You may feel the enmity of that person which you would like to take possession of. You may feel the frustration. You may feel the desire to take all that they possess. But at the same time, do you not feel the love of your fellow human? Do you not feel the love of your fellow spirit? Do you not feel the love of your own creator? Do you not feel the love from the spirit world? For it is truly that love that allows your heart to beat. It is that love which will allow you to live for all of eternity. For this is what we are trying to let you know, friends, that you are here for a brief moment. This is not your true existence. Your true existence is that of the spirit. Your true existence is that of the soul. We come to you this day and all days. We always try to have you listen to us, but do you ever? We always want you to know that we are with you. We always want you to know that we send you our love, our blessings, our hope. For your energy affects not only you, your energy affects not only your earth. Your thoughts are your energy. Your thoughts affect your world. Your thoughts affect the universe, my friends. Your thoughts create all. Your thoughts are so important. Your thoughts are creating and shaping your very existence. There is the famous saying, all that you are is what you have thought. This is a truism. Think upon it. Internalize it. Be it. Allow yourselves to realize that what is in your heart and what thoughts you allow to escape the mind are what you create in your own reality. For reality is not what your eyes perceive. Reality is what you create in your heart. You allow the heart to send the love forward. You create a reality that is far greater than you will ever imagine. Think upon love for your fellow man. Think upon love for your fellow existence, for all that you do and for all that you think is how you will exist. This is your creation, my friends. This is your opportunity to create the life and the existence that you have always dreamed of. You blame your very existence on fortune. Have you ever realized that your existence has been created by you and your thoughts long ago? When you begin to realize that you shape your reality and you shape your life with your heart and your thoughts, you may very well begin to change your thoughts and allow the love that is within your heart to rise to the top. This is true. Allow the love that is within to be existent forever. and feel our love. Do not dismiss it. Do not dismiss our energy, for we are here with you always. We are here supporting you at all times. Do not let it go. Do not dismiss it, for it is true. Thank you, my friends, for hearing us today.
Thank you. What a beautiful message. It's such a pleasure to welcome you here today, and thank you so much for um, being here with us. Um, would it be all right if we ask you a couple of questions?
Of course, my dear.
Thank you kindly. The first question I would like to ask you, and I'm going to ask if our audience has any questions for. May I ask, are you White Star?
Indeed.
Okay, thank you kindly. All right, if you have any questions for White Star, please drop it in the comments, and please put like a Q next to it. Um, all right, first I want to ask you about this has been on my mind a lot lately. I live in Florida, and there's only so much land, and there's more and more people moving here, and I love living here, but I also love nature and all the animals and the creatures that were here first, and I'm concerned that that they're removing so much land to build to accommodate all the people that are moving in. Um, I didn't know I was going to ask you this, but I'm asking you this. What can we do? Is this supposed to be happening, or is there something we can do? Like, I know if I had the money, I would buy up a lot of land and just leave it natural. But I don't know. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, please. And I'm sure it's not just my area. I'm sure maybe it's in other places too, or
Mm.
maybe not. Hopefully not.
This was part of the accumulation of which we spoke.
Yes. Hmm.
Mankind desires accumulation above all.
Hmm.
Mankind wants more every day. Accumulation has become his God. Back when man had not, man got along with Mother Earth in peace. To live back in the times when man lived with Mother Earth and lived off the land, this was a time of harmony.
Hmm.
This was a time when man did not desire accumulation, for he had no time to think of accumulation. This was a time when he thought of himself as merely trying to live. But now in your era, you are beyond the point of just living. You are now at the point of gathering. You are now at the point of gathering more than you possibly could use. Think of all those that have not. Think of all those that cannot eat, cannot drink, are malnourished, have no life, require help from others. Is there not imbalance on your world? If there is imbalance in your world, then those areas where there is scarcity can be offered. That where there is excess, there must always be balance. You must find ways to find the balance, to level the scales, to bring the scarcity level to the excess. If that can be done, then you have solved your problem.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Is it about raising awareness? Is that something that I know a lot of us do that, and those of us that are already awake and continue to evolve, and then there are those that are not on the same path. How can we inspire without pushing against? Do you know what I mean?
Mm, my child, those who are awake, those whose spiritual eyes are already open. Their very essence is impacting those whose eyes are shut tight.
uh,
Those who see impact those who see not. Those with love in their hearts impact those who love not. It is your vibration. It is your sight, your wisdom, your awareness, your consciousness. It impacts those who have not any of those attributes. But likewise, this is a double-edged sword for you, my dear. You must be aware that you carry now a burden. This burden is for you to illuminate the path for those who do not see. This burden is for you to illuminate the way with the light and the love that is in your heart. This burden is for you to take on the kindred spirit and help those who cannot help themselves. Many believe themselves to be spiritually aware, but they speak of this in mouth only. They do not speak of this in their heart. They speak of false gods. They speak of false spirit. They speak of false belief. They know not of which they speak. It is up to you, my dear, and to all those who have that spiritual awareness to illuminate the way and the spiritual truth. For we can try our best from our position, but the only people who will hear us are those who are already awakened. So thus, we speak to you and hope you can relay what we say to those who are in need. You are our messengers, my dear.
thank you. Powerful message. Brought tears to my eyes. Um, yeah, and we have had some. Madonna said it's the same in Canada, and then Stacy said also where she lives in California. So it's definitely not localized just in Florida. So we are awake, and we are to illuminate the path. Thank you. We have a question from Cindy Divino, who is asking, to change of gears here. I've heard that when we incarnate, a part of us remains on the other side. If that is the case, do our departed loved ones have that part of us to interact with? And wait, I'm sorry. Let me finish that. Let me reread that. I wanted to make sure my microphone was on. Do our departed loved ones have that part of us to interact with when they return to the other side?
We are always connected, whether we are connected by the bond of love or we are connected by our true selves, our souls. For whether we incarnate or whether we are at home, we are always connected. Our souls are on a journey, but our souls cannot experience that journey itself. Thus, we allow our spirit to take the journey for us. Every time the spirit has a new adventure, the soul learns something new. It is the soul that is truly the pupil, yet the pupil is learning by proxy.
Hmm.
The spirit goes out and learns from a new life. It does not go far, for in fact, The entire classroom goes with it. This is well known. Everybody in the classroom, if you will, has stayed together. It is a family, each person playing different roles in different chairs at different times. So while it may feel alone, you may actually be one and the same, traveling together with people that you truly knew.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Um, is that like we're talking about soul groups?
Yes, my dear, soul groups do travel together.
S- so I want to ask more about soul groups, if I may. Do we, uh, is a soul group something that has always been and then shall always be? Or does it evolve and more people come and go? Or is it always the same, like a soul, like a family, that you're always the same family for eternity? And then you have like friends in other groups trying to, my
Mm.
human mind is trying to understand.
A soul group is part of an evolution.
Okay.
A soul group serves the greater good. Souls will travel together in groups to support one another. But over time, when it no longer serves one soul, that soul may evolve to travel on to yet another group. Again, this is the soul's journey. As the soul learns, at some point, it no longer finds need to stay in any particular group. It will move on. Think of it as your own school on your planet. When it no longer serves you, you will eventually move on to another grade, to another school, to another town. You are never standing still. You are always moving. You are always evolving. That is true in the material world. That is true in the spiritual realm as well.
Wow. Thank you. And is it because is it also true that sometimes within a soul group, someone might play what one might call an enemy or that like a contrasting personality in that life, so that they could both learn, or do they always play a role where they are connected with each other in a loving, supportive way?
What you see as enmity, what you see as something that does not serve, always has a purpose,
Hmm.
always has a lesson. When one is between their material lives, it is well known who will play what role. When we are together at home, the love that we have for each other is beyond your perception. We always will do anything for those that we love, for the love is what supports our own growth. Because we love each other so, we will gladly play any role that is required to help that person that we need to evolve.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I know I had a soul family member in this life. I had like a 40-year experience with this person, Tule. But I get it. I thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we have a question. Are you okay for like another two questions?
Yes, my dear.
Thank you kindly, White Star. All right, Tracy Lees asks, a similar message was brought through. I think this is stepping back up part in the conversation, but I'm sure you know what we're talking about. A similar message was brought through in a trance circle I'm in on Wednesday regarding closing your eyes like the blind so you will know yourself in truth. Your physical eyes taint what is truly there. Were you part of this message, or can you offer some other spirits bringing through this theme?
My dear, these are spiritual truths. The theme of knowing yourself is a spiritual truth. When you begin to learn yourself and see yourself within and love the true spirit that you are and see yourself the way we see you and love yourself the way we love you, you will begin to realize that is the true reality. This is something that all of us know. This is something that exists always and forevermore. For the love that is within is the truth, not what you perceive it to be with your own human perception.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We have, I hope that answers your question, Tracy, and thank you for you're all asking such amazing questions. Nathan Coffee asks, we have karmic partners or soulmates or even twin flames. Do twin flames always incarnate together while soulmates sometimes do, but not in every incarnation?
The concept of the twin flame, albeit rare, does not necessitate that the two souls will incarnate at the same time. Your view is one of a linear perception, when in fact, existence is certainly not linear. Twin flames can exist at simultaneous times, in parallel lives, and at different times. In fact, it is quite infrequent that twin flames may actually intersect. The meeting point of twin flames is something of a rare occurrence.
Oh,
One may actually be aware of a twin flame. The intersection of the twin flames, if it does to happen, is a most beautiful thing. For when the two twin flames do meet, it is already known. This is a path that was occurring. For recall that all of existence, all of incarnations are not lockstep, linear, but are always happening in a simultaneous and multi-dimensional fashion. So souls do travel together. Twin flames do travel together, but it is not necessitated that they may ever meet until the final point.
huh. Wow. Thank you very much. That was illuminating. That was a great question and an amazing answer. I want to say thank you again, White Star. It's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. Um, do you have any? If you have anything else you want to let us know before you go, it would be an honor.
Mm. We want to share with you the love that we have for you, but the most important part is what we can share for you to grow your own souls, to allow your beings on this planet to realize that you are truly spiritual beings, that you truly have the capability of raising up your very existence. Connect yourselves with spirit, with the great spirit, and with one another. Allow the love that exists within your heart to convey to all others. Put down your weapons. Put down your hatred. Put down your discord. It is no longer serving you. Allow only that which serves all mankind and all of your spirits to grow. This is what is needed. What is needed most right now on your planet is love. What is needed most on your planet is light. Focus on those, and your planet will find itself growing and evolving faster than you could expect otherwise. Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
Hello.
It was amazing, Chris. Truly, truly amazing. Everyone's saying thank you, beautiful, great job. Thank you for this event, everything. All it's just really amazing. Thomas J, great job. Debbie Charlton, beautiful. Thank you. Everybody, Heather. That was White Star is amazing. That was my first time having the pleasure of meeting and speaking with White Star. Beautiful messages. I love
Oh,
the connection with Mother Earth and every that just so resonates with my soul, and
yeah, he seems to have a pretty good head on his shoulders, I guess.
definitely. It was wonderful. Everybody asked such great questions, and White Star gave just wonderful answers. It's just Nathan saying, "Are you aware of the conversation between White Star and us, or are you checked out somewhere?" That's a great question.
That's a great question. I was aware of things happening, but as I kind of try to think back on it now, I just remember it happened. That's about it.
It has. There's something happened.
Yeah, I mean, I remember there being some kind of Q&A. I remember him talking. Not really quite sure what he talked about. I just remember he talked, and I remember there being a Q&A, and that's about it.
I love it. Great question, Nathan. Honestly, it's you said being the battery, and I've been a battery many times, and I'm always, as I told you earlier, it's always my intention to hold space, but never have I been live, and I swear I could have I was gone. I was trying so hard to keep my eyes open. I was just going down so fast and so hard. I thought, oh my, I'm just going to be unconscious in a minute. And
Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. They put you, they take your energy, put you to sleep. They're like, "Thank you."
and now
And
I
they,
feel amazing.
exactly right. It's like, why'd I wake up?
I mean, of course, they're welcome to use my energy. They know that, but
Right.
I never experienced that before while I was live, and I'm trying to keep my eyes open and
Gee, I
watch
didn't
the
know he was that
computer.
boring.
I thought I don't want to be rude. Wow. Oh, hi, Ramona. It's good to see you. She goes, I'm sorry. Oh, don't worry. The replay is going to be there. We're still live. So good to see you here. And we have a few more minutes. Gosh, just time flies. And you're just so amazing to talk to, truly, Chris. You want to talk a little bit about your amazing book? You're a best-selling author, and you have a book out. I know I'm not telling you anything new, but I'm telling everybody else in case y'all haven't read it yet. Chris has an amazing book. I'm going to drop the link in the comments. It's also in the description. It is called Spirits Beside Us Gain Healing and Comfort from Loved Ones in the Afterlife. This is available on Amazon. And just very briefly, it's a book that explores the afterlife and the possibility of communicating with loved ones who have passed away. Author Chris Lippincott shares his own experiences as a medium, as well as the stories of others who have had similar experiences. And he provides practical advice on how to connect with the spirit world and receive messages from loved ones. And I want to tell you that I have had the pleasure of reading part of it. I'm more of a listener than a reader. But as soon as I started reading your book, I couldn't stop reading it. And I mean, you're an amazing author, and the stories were really engaging. And I put the link in the comments, and I really encourage anyone who is interested in mediumship or any of this to really just grab that book, because this is classic. Is there's anything you want to share about it?
Yeah, the thing I found amazing was that it only took 5 months to go from blank page to published.
Wow.
So when I showed the manuscript to my one of my mentors, she said, "You do realize that half of this was automatically written, don't you?" And I'm like, "Oh, that would explain a lot."
Wow. And
So
that
yeah,
you wrote this in 2020. I'm looking at the date
yeah,
on Amazon.
yeah,
It looks like May 8th, 2020.
yeah, exactly.
Wow.
And it was just I remember as I was writing it, it somewhere along that point, I remember just being getting some kind of download that all of a sudden like I'm on some mission. And I'm like, huh? That human in me goes, what? No, not me. I'm just like some regular dude. What are you talking about? And that's what keeps on happening. It's like the first time, right after my awakening. I'm still on Wall Street, and I'm going. I'm staring up at the sky, thinking that's where spirit has to be, right? Spirit has to be up in the sky. They're up in the
That's
clouds
right.
somewhere, right?
Mhm.
As opposed to being everywhere around us. So I'm staring up at the sky, going, "All right, guys, why me?" And before I could even finish the question, they're already responding to me, "Because you're a regular guy." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." That makes perfect sense. So apparently I'm relatable or something. So they're using me as kind of like a I don't know, something that people can understand, I guess. I don't know,
I
rather
love
than being
that.
from the Hindu Kush.
That makes sense. It does. It makes so much sense. I keep hearing the same message through my own guides, through other channels, that we all have a message to share. That we all have our own unique point of perspective or our own personality, and we're all going to connect with. It doesn't even matter if it's the same message. Different people will connect with us because we're us. So I understand what you're saying. But
Yeah,
this has been amazing. And how can people are you available for readings? Can people book readings with you, and how can they contact you?
yeah. I mean, people can drop me a line. My email is chris@montclairmedium.com. Or they can just go onto my website, which is www.montclairmedium.com. Those are probably the two most user friendly or easy ways to reach out to me and you know get a hold of me.
And you have a really great mailing list too. I'm on your mailing list, and so I really want to encourage you to sign up for Chris's mailing list. Let me just get you his and it's in the description, but I'm going to grab it for you anyway, so you have his website right in front of you. And that's okay, chris@montclairmedium.com. That's your email. I'm actually going to drop that too, because it's also right in front of me. Everybody, if you're not um just remember, it's in the description, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. All these links are in the description, including all of Chris's social media connections. His main website. Okay, let me grab that. Let me bring you there too. And that's montclairmedium.com, correct?
Yep,
Okay. And you're in New Jersey, right?
I am 12 miles west of Manhattan.
I love that. And, my guests are all over the world. I'm in Florida. I was born in New York. We have, but I love that. It's like sometimes I feel like sometimes, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just a limited perspective in my own mind. But sometimes it seems like most of the mediums are like from the UK or, from the countries that have been around a lot longer than ours. But it's not really the case, is it?
Doesn't have to be, no, not at
Right.
all.
I love it. I don't know. That just probably seems silly, but whatever. We're all
Nah.
human, and
Yeah, we're all human. Doesn't matter what country we're in.
there you go. Connecticut here, says Tracy. Well, I
All
just
right.
want to say thank you. Is there anything else you want to share about springtime or anything else
Oh yeah,
before we go for
springtime. I'm just
today?
glad it's springtime. Warm weather's starting to come here, unless of course you're calling in from the southern hemisphere, in which case you're starting to get the fall.
That is true. That is true. Well, Chris, thank you again. It's
Well,
really been
thank
a
you so
pleasure.
much.
I
Thank you
hope
so
you'll
much. It was
join us
it was
again
great.
sometime.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely. Anytime.
thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you all for being here today. We love you. It's a pleasure. And Nathan says almost all of the U.S. mediums are on the East Coast and the Northeast. I guess we all have our own perspective. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I don't know if that's
Well,
why I
actually,
was.
I know a lot are on the West Coast, so it seems like most of them are on either coast. But then again, those both
Oh,
coasts are very dense. So
that's true. The coasts are dense. Well said. And Leslie says thank you. So all right, thank you all. Thank you, Chris. You're all amazing. And for now,
love and
namaste.
light.